down. Hello, guys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Indicator. Let's start by apologizing for the guys. Yes, let's start by apologizing for the guys for the technical issues. I hope they are resolved. From my side, I have got no more load shedding. Thank you.
Yes, from my side, I'm also sorted. Bye.
Okay, guys. So, yes, I missed out. We missed out. Apologies. I hope you guys caught the market during the times of the announcements of the NFP. We will make a recap. Lovely. We will make a recap. We don't want you to lose the opportunity. So we will make a recap of what would have happened should we have had no issues at all. Just to show you potential of having to make enough, or just depending on who you are anyway, relatively so, of what you could have made in the market by have traded the NFP, the non-farm payroll, during the time when they were released. Unfortunately, it has just been about 40 minutes now from the time of release. Let me just start, Silas, by just recapping on. I know that you were busy, perhaps because I'm the one who came late. Perhaps you are the one who can start to say where were you, so that I can just continue from your conversation, and I will just show the guys how do we break it down and chop it. I don't think that I've lost my opportunity, by the way.
Yes, I was actually just looking at the Euro USD chart. I think there was one of us here who actually requested to have a look to actually trade the Euro USD live, and I was actually in the process of actually starting to find out what is the market looking like, what's the shape right there. And maybe when you came, I think you saw that I had already done that flat market at the top, and that's when you jumped in, and I had to now jump into the admin side of things.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. Thank you, guys. You know, the euro dollar is one of the popularly traded pair during the NFP and even beyond. You know, it's just one of the biggest traded pair. It's not my favorite. Let me say, if you talk about favorites, it's not really my favorite. I can analyze everything, but sometimes it really does not augur well with me when it takes so long to move. But yes, let's look at it. Before that, I think if Silas was looking at it, it's a good thing. Anybody who's looking to be trading the euro dollar during this big news, yes, it is one of those. I said it's one amongst them, but one of the biggest volatile pairs would be your USD CAD. Why is the USD CAD? Because the USD CAD comes in during the time when you are trading the news of both, or economic data being released, Mr. Indicator, from different sets of the countries. It's Canada that is releasing high impact news about unemployment and employment data from Canada. At the same time, America is also releasing some data. So heavy volatility is expected pretty much on the euro dollar side, on the USD CAD side, the UJ side. You can see that I've put together a profile which is called the NFP profile here. That's the euro dollar, that's the pound dollar, but you can see that the euro dollar and the pound dollar will be moving almost the same. So it's gonna be up to the preference with your broker. When you are a scalper, when you are a 1 minute, 5 minute scalper, you should definitely be trading your euro dollar, because the spread and the cost of trading your euro dollar is like it's generally less. So what you could have done here is that this is how I trade, and this is how, when I make sessions, I am going to be continuing, by the way, with live trading of the NFP, so that you can test the trading strategies that we use. But the most common strategy used for NFP is the breakout strategy, sometimes with no retest. You can see that's exactly what happened in this case. But let's first go to the news. I would like us to start so that we can simulate this, Mr. Indicator, and look at what could have happened. I like to make a build-up note. I like to make a build-up first before the news are released at 3:30. there must have been an anticipation. For some of us who live and stay and watch the market, there are some, often the market becomes flat before the news are released. So just from the New York session, once the New York session starts and slows down, everybody is, we call, they will be keeping in cash, holding on to any further more commitments or trading. So we are expecting the market to be flat because there will be less liquidity or less capital flowing in the market. So in this case, then we are not going to be going into those kind of flat markets. So I am going to be showing how then do we use these flat markets before the news. You can see that there it is. The market was flat. There was the market flat. This is the euro. This is the, I think this one is the, let me check it again. I think this is the euro dollar 5 minutes chart. Okay. Euro dollar 5 minutes chart. I hope you can see it from that point. Yeah, I can see that my property there, my grid, my foreground, it should be black. There you go. Now you can see that. There it is. Right. Now in this instance, you can see that I want to go to M5. Don't worry. That's the pound. That's the pound. Let me just save my template first. Right. So let's go back to euro dollar on 5 minutes. You can see that on a 5 minutes chart, the euro dollar, shortly before the news, I can tell you right now that the news were released on that big bullish candle right here. I think that's when the time the news were released, right there. Right. So if the news were released this time, you can see that before then, markets were completely flat. When you say flat, there was some bit of tussling and hustling there, but generally it was flat, sloping to the downside. So what I usually do is that I would be getting a trend line for the market. That's what I would do. That flatness or that choppiness of the market during that time, I would get it on the chart. That's very important. What do I call this? I call this pre-news release. So this is this is before the data was released. You know, big in big capital letters. I would definitely put it up there. That's what we do. So we were monitoring. It's not like we are not there. This is the pre-NFP release. So the data was not released at this time, pre-NFP data. So because the data was not released, that is the phase. The whole session before it was summarized, or it's summarized in that. There is how the market flat was. So since the London session started and pushed the euro to the downside, just before the NFP was released, there was the support that was made during that time. You can see that it's flat, but it was a down. It ended there. That would be my, and then from there I would then have Mr. Indicator. I would then have the support. So the market was there for, what do we say, on euro dollar just before. I'm telling you, we'll do it again. I'm still going to show how we do the market. So according to me, I was going to be telling you at about 25 to or 5 minutes before the news are released, I was going to tell you that there's highly likely that the dollar, that the news that are going to be released, they are going to be coming out at a pace or at news that are worse than expected. Why? It is because those who were there about an hour before the market, an hour or 2 hours before the market, they were pushing superficially the dollar to the downside, but they had no momentum, nor did they have got lots of buy-in. So it was not a bigger push. The last bigger push that we have seen in the market was during the start of the London session on the euro side. So the euro was pushed to the downside. Since then, the guys waited for news, said, no, I'm not going to be joining this movement of the euro. I don't know what it's based on. It could have been based on some news that were released during the London session before the opening of the New York session. So in this case, I'd definitely be saying, when these guys are being cautious, that is where the caution they were putting in. They were putting the caution and factoring in that this caution seems to be indicating to me And to you, if you're going to be following us as Opulence FX, I would have told you, as I've done for many, many, many other years, when I was moving around the country, helping others to trade the NFP live. That's what we'd put together. We put up together this pre-NFP data. Now the pre-NFP data is done. Right. So now we are adopting a bias. Because we have got the pre-NFP data release, we are not seeing as a matter of fact. Now we are adopting a bias. The bias I adopt with my traders is that expect the market to be going to the upside before the news are released. Because we expect the market to be going to the upside, then what we do is that then we mark that 30-minute support and resistance, and you could see that at the time, the support, we use pivot supports, by the way, just the support could have been somewhere there. All right. If it was there, the price was then ranging between 1.21163 and 1.21043. Now that's a price range, few minutes or just few hours, few minutes, an hour before the actual release of the data. So what do? We would usually then have a buy limit, should have done that. But already myself, I was already on a buy trade that I think should have hit my take profit. Then at this point, then we have got our buy. I'm telling you, even before this candle could have done, I will. If you think this guy is joking with us, and we could have done this thing before, he was not there. There it is. There could have been our buy stop. So we could have done a buy stop right there. Breakout, because it's a breakout trading system. Our breakout, our just above this point would have had our buy stop, and then just below this point. But what would have I said about the sell stop? I would have not suggested anybody to do a sell stop in this case, because any sell stop would be a trap. Let me just tell you right now. So there would have not been any sell stop, even if the price did not. Let's say the price would have gone down. I would have not encouraged any of my traders, including you who's watching me on YouTube and any other of our platforms. I do not chase the price for nothing. I would not just chase the candle that is moving to the downside, then can change on me anytime. I would have not believed anything to the downside, because if anything would be coming from the news going to the downside, it was going to be blocked somewhere around this area, which is called what I call a trap zone. You were going to be trapped here. So in this case, if the news could have come good, that was going to be, so the whole momentum was going to go downside. When it completely fades. Why? Because the chances of breaking these falling wedges to the downside are very, very, very difficult. So you need lots of money, and the fundamentals must be supporting you on the longer term basis, not on a shorter term basis. So I wouldn't be trading the falling wedges in a downtrend with all that and risking everything that I have. That's a big trap area. So I wouldn't have done so. So meaning that I would have completely waited for the price to break. If they want to be strong, they should then go to the downside. I'm not going to be interested. Go to the downside, break this point, and then retest it. So I was going to be going on the retest of the downside, but not of the upside. The upside, I've got a buy stop because I have maintained a bullish bias. What am I saying? If I had adopted the bearish bias, I would have gone with a sell stop, because I'm expecting a bigger breakout. Technicals are agreeing, just waiting for the fundamentals. The fundamentals are also agreeing to go to the other side. Note, at this time, just want to share with you, at the time when this was happening, there is the pre-NFP data, and that is the trap area. The majority of the scalpers are trapped in that area, where when the big red candle, bearish candle, is going to the downside, they are jumping in with lots of their money. The market goes there, pay them, some of them, they take screenshots, blue screen everywhere. They post. Just after they post, the candles start moving out from that zone that I'm showing you, that yellow zone. The candles start moving. Mr. Salas is laughing. He knows what this can do. The whole stick start coming out, and they're wondering what is happening. Tell me, if they did not close their profits, the whole profit gets wiped out. What could have happened? I just want to show you how we trade fundamental. This is not. This is how we trade news, not even fundamentals, because this is just pure hype trading, Mr. Indicator. There's most of the traders who are trading NFP, they really are not trading fundamentals. They're trading the momentum that is brought by the wind that is blown by the fundamental traders. There's no fund manager, there is no hedge company that can go and plug in their money, wait for the data released, they plug in their money into a trade, and then after 5 minutes they are out. No hedge fund that I know that can do that. So because they don't trade hype, they trade sustainable fundamentals. So in this case, we need to be checking what makes the candle to be coming out from the zone that I've shown you. So it will be hype. Why? What will be causing the hype? Let me share the screen with you. I'm not teaching, I'm showing you how we trade this. So in this case, what likely could have happened is that I told you when the news were released, this news came up with different forms of news. Let me go to that. There it is. Just shortly before that, that's what I told you. So what you see there is that you can see there I am on the unemployment rate. All the news were released at the same time. The Canadian dollar was releasing the unemployment rate. The US was releasing unemployment rate. The US unemployment rate comes out better than expected. Now, the better than expected news means that we should be investing in America. Who would not want to be investing? Who would not want to be putting their money in a country that its unemployment is reducing? According to the sustainable long-term, medium-term fundamentals, these are true fundamentals. The America bottom line has improved on unemployment. But if you can see what happened there, money did not flow into the US dollar. All right. There was no trading of the US dollar. In fact, the US dollar got sold. The majority of the guys sold. Why do you punish the country which has shown some positive economic data on a big fundamental? That's one. Let me tell you why. It is because the minutes that we were trading were not the minutes about the unemployment. So the data about unemployment is released, but this data then often becomes shelved for trading for long term. Now, the short-term trading then comes to the non-farm payrolls. And the non-farm payrolls that were released were 559, and that's called a worse than expected result. That's exactly what we're trading. It's called hype. Because we are, all of us, every trader, retail, institutional, speculators, everywhere where they are, with the hype that the brokers have done with promotions, trade, you will be reduced, all the hype in the marketing campaigns that have been going on all along, leading to this thing are now playing out. So everybody is looking at the figure. The figure comes out, and the figure, just like a bioscope or a cinema, the figure comes 3, 2, 1, boom. Nobody listens to anything. What is the non-farm payroll? The figure comes. It is worse than expected. They all go in, and they all sell the dollar. That's what happened there. So what happened? Then the dollar gets sold. Right, that's exactly what happened. Why? Because everybody is trading the non-farm payroll. Remember, I said that the unemployment rate data is shelved. It's not discarded. Right? And I'm going to show you right now. And I think that's what I'm going to be trading, because I missed the non-farm payroll. I could be trading, and I could be interested in trading the unemployment rate data. When the non-farm payroll hype is finished, I'm telling you, trader, highly likely those institutions that are not that are commercial institutions, your Goldman Sachs, your Citibank, these big banks, they are going to be the ones that are going to be, when you are done and gone and have posted on Facebook and everywhere about the pips that you've made, they are going to be coming shortly, even within the same session, and they're going to be looking at the US to say that, guys, but this was just a monthly data that was released, about the non-farm payroll. These figures can change anytime. Qualitatively speaking, the US is improving here. We expected that the unemployment will be around 5.9. It has improved. This figures was last month 6.1, and today US is back on 5.8. I don't know. I will check if this was the pre-pandemic levels, because I remember that before Trump went, the unemployment figures were now moving around 3.8, 3.9. He was touching the 4% unemployment rate. So there we are now. We are now below 6%, and that could be a milestone. We're looking at good recovery, and that could be something for the dollar. Let me go back to the chart. Right now, let's go back to the chart. If there are questions, guys, just keep dropping those questions. Okay. If you've got any question during the course of the session, do not mind. Drop the questions. Let's look at them. Right. So let's go back to the chart. News, good on the employment side. News, bad. All right. On the other side, on the NFP side. So they have traded the bad news. Let's go to it. Back to the chart. Whether you should have chosen, if you like high pips, you would have gone for gold. All right. If you like, if you like high pip value, you would have gone for gold. Those who spoke about euro dollar, Mr. Indicator, there it is. I would have definitely bought the euro dollar. I was bullish euro dollar anyway before this session. I would have continued with my bullish bias. I would have taken some more. There, the hype is going. There, they are continuing. The question perhaps you could have asked me, if you would have bought this, where would have been your take profit? Your take profit, Mr. Indicator, would be clearly at this level. You would be happy there for the hype. So the take profit hype was there. So let's calculate together, guys. At the buy stop there, somewhere around 40 pips. You'd have easily made 40 pips together in this session. Thanks to the load shedding, we could not make it. And others could have maybe ran away with 30. You can see that some of them, they ran away with this one at the 1.21. There was a reversal there. So from there, that's a buy stop there. Anywhere there, that's about 30 pips. So you would have made anything between 30 pips and 40 pips. I would have settled for 40 pips in this kind of a market on euro dollar. Trading this at 0.01, that's $4 that you have made for yourself. Congratulations. Trading 0.10, that would have been something like a $40 made for yourself. If you could have won this thing with a big, a nice, worth fed standard lot size, that could have been a $400 profit for you on a breakout. You've got enough accounts for like that, I wouldn't mind. Scalpers, that's what they do. Some scalpers go in with a 10. Scalpers are high risk traders by nature, just trading the high. So this for me would be fundamentals combined with good technicals. Good technicals has predicted that way before fundamentals were released. And according to me as a technical analyst, I was already adopting a bullish bias on the euro dollar on the intraday basis. So I believe that the downside were fading, and that's how it faded right up to there. And that's where the 10 comes in. There it is. They are continuing. I will then later. And now, if there are no further questions, just a small break of one or few minutes, Mr. Morano, you can play something just for me to grab a glass of water. We're gonna be continuing together until 4 o'clock because I missed the sessions thereafter. So you look at that. Then from there, I'm gonna be waiting for the questions. Let's break down gold together again. Let's break down the Nasdaq. The opportunity to trade the NFP is not over. I'm still gonna be getting in myself if I can get opportunity, as I'm gonna be trying to show you right now. That's what you're gonna be doing. Okay, just after a 1 or 2 minutes break as I grab a glass of water. Mr. Indicator.
All right, thank you. So you're saying 1 minute or 2 minutes?
1 or 2 minutes, yeah. Just want to grab something to hydrate, and then we're gonna be breaking down. In the meantime, I think let's take some questions. What chart would you like us to do with, guys? Please comment. Now, with what chart? You've got any questions? Remember, this is our first, Mr. Salas. You indicated that this is our first of the NFP trading sessions. We have been trying to take all our secrets, our mysteries for trading, and now we're bringing them to the fore. This is more than 10 to 12 years of trading this NFP after killing some of us for more than years, as we were also novice traders. We don't want that to happen to you. So we would like you to improve on that one. So, but that's where we are. Put down together some questions, but even besides questions, we will still be continuing with breaking down the indices. What is the impact of NFP on indices, and what is the impact of NFPs on precious metal like gold and on commodities, energy such as oil?
All right, maybe in the meantime, what we can do is I can have a look at what I think is going on there while you are still having the break. I don't have anything to play in the background so far. So you can disappear. Let me DJ here for a bit. All right, so that's the 2-minute break that TshepZAR has asked or has requested for. And while he's away on a break, so what are our mindsets? So that's a question from, yeah, I don't know how to call that name. But here's a question. So what our mindsets be after missing the hype from the NFP, especially for the scalpers? All right, so he's going to be discussing what's going to happen post the NFP, or what should our mindsets be after the hype of the NFP. Right, so he's going to come back. He will address that question. What's going to be the next thing forward, moving forward with this new development? Maybe let me share a bit of insight, especially with that chart, what I think will potentially take place in this market. I just want to share my screen. Please give me a sec while I do that. Let me share the screen with you. So what we're looking at right now with the Euro USD is it's now breaking out of the resistance there, which potentially has this market now. I'm thinking now after the NFP going on, and we already have adopted a bullish bias based on that descending wedge, which reversed the whole market. So what is the next thing that I think could potentially happen in this market is I'm looking at that price maybe jumping all the way up to the 1.22 price levels. It could potentially jump all the way up to there, somewhere there, and maybe head and shoulder rules is you're not supposed to be trading the shoulder line of the market. However, in this market, I'll be very comfortable trading the shoulder line all the way up to there. So there is still an opportunity for me to dive into this market, especially because I can see that the breakout is happening currently. So just wait for the break, and even maybe a little bit of a breakout session here. Maybe there could be a little bit of trading activity that takes place, depending on where the 15-minute where the 15-minute candle actually closes. If it closes above there, chances are there could be a potential reversal market that goes up there, maybe the whole cycle towards the neckline of that and come back for that. So potentially maybe we're still looking at has taken place that might still pretty much bring in a little pressure to the downside. Take that trade. Maybe the stop loss actually might just be below this neckline when trading this one, all the way up to there. That is still one of the other mindsets that can take place in this market. So maybe just as an idea, you have seen maybe that could be one of the things that could take place there. Can we Right. We are back.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes,
We are
sorry about
back.
that. My internet just disappeared on me as well.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, I can see. I can see. Right, let's do this. So I can see that the guys have been asking questions, which is great. I see some questions have been coming. So where do we start, Mr. Salas Indicator? You'll guide me. I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
recharged.
I think I've
Having my
already.
coffee.
Okay. I think I've already touched on one of the questions, but I think it would be better if we further elaborate. What are the mindsets? What should our mindsets be after missing the hype from the NFP, especially for scalpers?
What a question, man. Thanks very much for that question. Uh, the the
There's a guy.
mindset, yeah. Go ahead, Mr.
There's a
Moraro.
guy with a Elon Musk type of name.
Oh,
I can't really.
okay. Uh, oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen that. Yeah,
Yes.
right. Okay. So yeah, if you've already touched on it, great stuff. Mindset of a trader is very important. I think I also noticed that you also said as a scalper. You know, um, you know, I don't know if I don't know the mindset of a scalper except to know that a scalper is a high risk, high trader, high risk, high reward, rather low reward trader, and it's a hit and runner. As much as possible, hit and run. I know there are 5 pip scalper, 10 pip scalper, but I don't want to take anything away from them. I think there are others who really know the levels. For me, it's the levels at which you must say it's enough, if which is exit strategy. As long as the exit strategy is correct, which I don't even call them scalpers, to find an entry on an M5 and to stay for 100 pips does not make you a scalper. I must emphasize that. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because a scalper is somebody who hits and run. It's like you get into the market, you collect those 5-10 pips, you take them, you run away. But if you're gonna be holding the trade, we can't be calling you a scalper. We do find trades on M15. I do find entries on M15 time frame. Doesn't make me a scalper. So the mindset for me is generally the mindset of a trader. What are you in it there for? If you are in there for 10 pips, but you can stay and stay for 60 pips waiting to see where the market would go. For me, that's where the issue is. That's why I'm speaking about the hype. That if you're trading the hype can catch you on the wrong side. The hype can fade while you are on the wrong side. Think about how it works. It's like you will hear that there's going to be a soccer game between Kaiser Chiefs and Pirates. Then you bought the ticket. Just after you bought the tickets, they said, in fact, that match is not going to be. Yeah, that was all fake news. At the time you had already booked, everything was ready, and it was only found to be fake news. So it's a similar thing. So for me, it's to be caught on the wrong side of the market. So what do you do as a trader? Your mindset needs to be ready for dealing with the risk as much as you are with the reward. Good question right there. But from the point of pairs, Mr. Morara, also somebody wanting, Sanele Hadebe says, can we look at the BTC USD? Sanele, thanks for the question, but I will go to the BTC USD, but speaking about the NFP, there's really not too much correlation that I've noticed over time. I've traded Bitcoin as long as I've traded the dollars. So just as I was starting to trade currencies or Forex, my broker was amongst the few that were offering trading Bitcoin. So I have not really seen much of the movement of Bitcoin based on US fundamentals, by the way. Doesn't mean that you don't have to go to the news of the USD and see how it can be related that to the BTC. Mr. Indicator is already giving a big smile there, because the fundamentals of crypto are the fundamentals of crypto, purely. So we go and check what is going to be listed, what is not going to be listed. Today is what is Elon is going to be saying, what is he not going to be saying. So we purely monitor the BTC fundamentals. So BTC fundamentals, you separate them completely from NFP. NFP speaks about fiat currencies and other related assets such as gold, oil, and others. So there's no relationship between NFP and BTC. By so doing, let me not do BTC first, because there's no relationship between BTC and the NFP trading session. I hope, my guy, you understand it. it is not to dice or to snap your questions. I will just give you a general view of where I think BTC will go, and then also look at its fundamentals. Not a problem. So in this case, Mr. Right, lovely. Is there another question, Mr. Mrora?
Another very good question, just to write on to that one, on the correlation of different markets. But this one is also just a follow-up now. I think it comes from Walter Muleleki. What is the impact of the NFP on stock market? Which now we can just, I think we could do a very nice job.
Yes, lovely. I will definitely write on that one. Thanks, Walter. Yes, indeed. Now you're talking. There is a relationship between a correlation between the NFP and the stock markets, especially the US stock markets, and the US stock markets have got an impact on other global stock markets. Then we're talking. And in this case, I would rather that we confine it only to indices, because then if you can confine it to a specific stock, that's where the problem is going to be. Remember, the NFP is an indicator above the performance of the entire labor market in the US, not particularly into which sector, because they don't break it down at the moment. It is later on. If you can watch some other channels, CNBC, Bloomberg, they can give you a breakdown of where the deficit, because we can see the numbers were down, which sectors did not contribute a lot in terms of the non-farm payroll. Those are the sectors you could be expecting their shares, individual shares, to drop, and then affecting the indices. So I would like us to go to let's talk about indices now. Let's look at how the NFP has now affected one of the mostly widely traded, perhaps confining myself to the euphoria I'm seeing in South Africa about the Nasdaq. I must emphasize Nasdaq. Who's trading the Nasdaq? If you are there trading the Nasdaq, watching us from wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, you can drop us a message and say, Coach, here I am. Guys, here I am. I'm doing the Nasdaq. Even right now, in fact, when I leave this, I'm jumping straight into the Nasdaq. So let's do that. Now let's do the Nasdaq. Right. So what will be the impact? I've prepared the US tech. There it is, the US tech. And there is the gold. I'll also come to gold after that. So let's break down the US tech. The US tech is the Nasdaq. All right, there it is. Now, another thing again, Mr. Moreira, tell them that we do not lie. We have adopted a bullish bias on the Nasdaq on our market preview, but they do not know which levels we are buying. That's the only thing. But we can tell you guys that our market preview is suggesting a buy on the buy of the Nasdaq. So, but let's look at it. What we could have done to Nasdaq? I'm sure when you're looking at this, to say that, my goodness, yes, we are buying somewhere at a lower price than what you see now. So the portfolio is looking pretty fat right now. Okay, so that's where it is. So in this instance, then we're going to be looking at the Nasdaq. You can see that, Walter, that the data came out negative. Your question is that, now why does the US tech rally when the NFP is negative? I think that's your question. This now will be going down. It's not a teaching. It's not a mentorship. Again, I do not, and I'm not going to be starting free mentorships on correlations, because those that are on our coaching programs, they are the ones who really have got this advantage of learning more in detail about specific correlation. Please note, I don't talk about correlation that on the theory, that are on the books. I'm talking about the correlation that is read on the market. It's called a current correlation. The coefficient is not calculated based on some books. It is based on what the market is doing at the moment. So what usually now, when you talk about general correlation, when the dollar gets weak, you can see that the reason why these indices have rallied over the time, it is because the dollar has weakened over the time. I'm just going to show you by using the base currency. All right, now look at this. Look at this. If you can look at this, there is a weakness, a general weakness of the dollar during the time when you talk about the general strength. This is how we talk correlation. Where are the traders? This is the rally of the stock index. USD tech was going up while the UJ was dropping. Right. while there's a drop in the UJ. So there's just general weakness of the UJ. So there is that bit of correlation between the weakness of the dollar and the rallying of the stock indices. So that's where we see right now that while the euro is gaining, pretty much we can even not say that the euro is gaining, let's not call it. While the US dollar is weakening, it is now coming that at a benefit of the tech stock and other indices. There is, during the same time, there is the bullish movement. So that I expected again. So meaning therefore that when we were doing this together, or if you could have been doing this together, I would have suggested, I would have looked at how the market, again, similarly, if you trade in the NASDAQ, which I think that most of you do trade, I would have looked at before the market came through, there was some form of a resistance. Can you see? But this resistance, I would have not traded immediately. There was some form of resistance which the Nasdaq Master Indicator has made yesterday, and there was the support that's on the other side. You know, there was the support. Okay, then we can check what time. Remember, these technical levels were there before the news. That's why I like technicals. The technical traders are reading the markets before the wind blows, because the fundamentals, or those who trade news, are coming to blow the wind, or they are coming on news that the wind is blowing. Whichever direction that the wind will blow, they will go with it. But before the wind starts blowing, the technical indicators, by their predictive ability, they're able to check if the price would move to the upside or not. So in this case, you must have noticed that when you use this time frame, there was also some form of a fight back of the Nasdaq on these levels, not just once but 3 times, and that's called a triple bottom. So we already have seen a triple bottom way before the stock, way before the news were released. Now we can interpret it the way we want. That's the first one. I'm not saying it's the one that took it down. I'm gonna show you. Here's another one. So it looked pretty tricky on the Nasdaq side, or on the stock indices side, before the NFP. So I would have not suggested that we go for this one, because both of them, it could have gone either way. So it was not showing pretty much of a clear way where there's going to be, whether which bias one could take. So in this case, there was the bearish, looked somewhat bearish there. They were fighting there yesterday. After serious momentum yesterday, there they were fighting this area. So it was a triple top against a triple bottom, if you can call it, if you want me to call it. So it was definitely, you can see that these guys were beginning to lock themselves out down right now there. It is this kind of markets for me that would want me to wait for the news. And I think the news, oh Silas, I think this news happened when this pattern has broken to the upside. I suspect that this, yes, I'm correct. This is the candle that retested. So there it broke out. So there was a breakout before the news to the upside. And once you can see that, this is why I regret I was not with you traders when this market was doing this, because there was a retest of this. There was the retest of this. This candle came there, retested the support during the news, you know, and that was a buy. There it is, and they continue to the upside. So for me, let me take you to the M15 and let me show you how that happened. There is the candle. There is the news candle, this one. The first candle, this candle that you're watching there, it was the candle of the first 15 minutes of the news. Bullish, and it's using that range before there it is. I just want to show you, I'm breaking it down. There it is. That's a retest right there. So according to me, they could have gone up. I would have not gone on any limit, Mr. Indicator. I would have not done any limit trading there. I would have still kept my buy limit there. All right. So buy limit could have been right at the retest of this broken support resistance, and I would have still put my stop loss on volatility. We have got stop losses. I put my stop loss right below this point, so I would have not taken any more risk. There's my stop loss there, and then from there we continue right to the upside. And where we will go, I don't think that this is the whole profit that you could have taken. As I said, I don't want to be promising you that I'm that greedy. That's the take profit. Nicely hit there. The market touched there a little bit before it rallied again. But the take profit was going to be there at 1360 for this NFP session. In that case, that's going to be 1:1, 2, 3. Just about 1:3. So this NFP session, I don't know who was asking about I don't know who was asking about the Nasdaq, but that's how I would break it down, man. Who was that? I think it's Walter. Yes, he's Walter. That's how we could have done it. There was a nice breakout, Mr. Indicator, above that resistance of that triangle. It looks like it was a closing triangle or contracting triangle of the Nasdaq from yesterday's fall. There it contracted. The news broke that contracting triangle to the upside. What you do, you don't ride these. They are parabolic candles, by the way, Mr. Moreira. These candles, I'm not surprised why it does these moves. They cause massive momentum. Contracting triangles, heavily volatile after breakout. Similarly, expanding triangles, they cause breakout without retesting, because then the support and resistance have completely diverged against each other. They're not converging at all. They move far apart. The volatility is extremely difficult. This is the triangle I don't like. And that's what the euro dollar has made, by the way. I will show you before the end of the session. Another question.
Is there a possibility on the euro dollar? Is there a possibility of a retest on the euro dollar?
Oh my goodness, we want to take you want to get on it, eh? This hype, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Murara is still continuing. I think we are coming to the retest. Someone can say, but how do you know this, coach? Just by looking at this current chart, the Nasdaq. Why? I can see that the Nasdaq is now reaching the resistance. I do expect that euro dollar should be reaching the resistance. I'm expecting that the gold should be reaching the resistance. That's correlation. Correlation works like that. Again, I'm not teaching correlation. I'm showing you how we trade the market. I would have not tried any sell of the Nasdaq anyway. I hope that scalpers didn't try that, because if they did, right now they have put their tails in between their legs. You do not do that, and that's the problem when people don't know trading ranges and levels in the market. This bully or this hype can only be stopped by technical levels. If the technical levels don't respond, the hype has not stopped. You can see the hype is continuing, and once they start another wave of hype, Mr. Moreira, they don't get stopped. So the level of the Nasdaq, from that take profit to the top, was not going to be stopped by any other. It does not matter how many millions of rands we have to start to try to stop that rally. It was not going to work. So you'll be sitting right now with an account that is just about on margin call or completely gone. So what am I saying? And that's the casualty, Mr. Moreira, of NFPs. NFPs doesn't just make others rich; it makes others completely poor. NFP does not contribute to the overall success of retail traders. After the NFP is traded, 80% of traders still lose their money. I think they must go and watch your video when you posted to say, why do traders lose their money? Beautiful video, by the way, you have done. So that's exactly the point, that we're trying to tell the traders. It is still 80% of you. Even if you can get one trade right, you are not considered to the ones who are successful. So that statistics does not contribute to those who are claiming to say that they have got a winning streak of 20 trades. Those are good professional traders. So only about 2 out of 10 of the traders in your particular broker are pros, or they trade like pros. 8 are novice and they claim they're pros. That's how we can put it. 8 are novice claiming they're pros. So I'm gonna be going to this one. Let's get to it now. Let's go to euro dollar. Will the euro dollar retest? Mr. Moreira, let me do it on M30, because now the charts are going ahead of us. What a hype! What a hype! Look at the candle. This candle is making the whole Facebook trend right now. Some of them are joining late. I've not checked Facebook right now, but I'm just going to be looking at it. What a movement. I had already found something. There you go. Can they allow me to delete this, because I'm the only way to know where this will be going, because there's too much hype. It's not noise, ladies and gentlemen. Please, this is not noise. Please do not go tell people that short time frames are causing noise. This is not noise. This is a true hype, which is based on news that are being traded at the moment. Watch that. Let me tell you where these news are coming from. If I can go to this candle, Mr. Moreira, let me quickly explain it. I think the next candle that is piling right now, there could be some news coming through again. There were some news that were scheduled to be coming again later today. And there it is, 4 o'clock. Let me just share with them. More news just came right now. USD factory orders. I don't have the data, but they've just posted them. It's medium impact. And then Canada just posted more news there, which is the Purchasing Managers Index High Impact News. Let me share with them before I can go to euro dollar. It's very important. We're trading news today. Right. Let me share this, and you can see what we trade, and what we do. How do we use the news here? Right. Just at this hour, 4 o'clock, news just dropped right now. Right now. Yes, Mr. Murara, you can come in.
And while you're still on that, in about 13 minutes, also Joe Biden has a speech, which is also another high impact. So it's going to be a ripple effect in terms of
what a New York session is going to be. Wow. I'm going to be in the markets today. After this session, I think you should be finishing around 4:30, Marara, if they would like to enjoy the session with us. I think but 4:30 should be the latest. 4:30 should be the latest. I would definitely be listening to Biden. If he's going to be live either on Bloomberg or in CNBC or CNN, I'll be watching him. So in this instance, let's just look at that. The news just been released right now. The medium impact news are on the factory orders of the dollar of the US, and the high impact news is the Canadian dollar PMI. The data has not yet been released. I will be waiting to see what is happening. The data must have been released, but some people who've got the data are already trading it. On my calendar, the data has not yet been released. Yeah, Mr. Morara, there you are. There is the president of Joe. I call this man Bro Joe. Though he's an old man. Joe. President Biden will be speaking in 11 minutes from here. It won't be the first word that he speaks that's going to determine the market. So when we trade news of the news of speeches, we need to listen to the whole speech, and then we'll be listening to the tone. We'll be listening to whether the direction is that which the market can like, or is called pro-market, or is anti-market. And then we're going to be looking at that, and they will be trading them paragraph by paragraph, depending on the impact of each word that he speaks on the market, because it's a high impact news. It's high impact news. So we're going to be digesting, the fundamentals will digest it themselves. So that's how it goes. Can we now go to the euro dollar? When will it retest? Let's do that. The euro dollar will retest I'm also waiting for that retest. Sanele is gratefully saying thanks. Right. When will it retest? Let's get there. Wow, there is the euro dollar. Is it retesting? I'm seeing on M5, there's a bit of reversal there. There is some candle forming there. There it is. Could this be the retest, and why? If it is, how was it formed? Right, I wanted to look at it an H1. Apologies for that. And Mr. Rara, I promise that I will show you the expanding triangle that the euro dollar has. You know, I've not posted this chart on your Facebook. This is still the chart that I'm keeping secret. Unfortunately, I'm releasing it right now. That's my support. I had already had a buy there. Looks like it's gone now. I'm using this kind of support currently to form and finish this expanding triangle. Heavy volatility coming. If you think you're done, you are wrong, my friend. We're still going to be seeing lots of volatility coming. Tell them the coach said so. Watch this video, share this video. Anybody who's trying to buy and sell this market in the middle, good luck to them. Tell them I said good luck. Anyone, scalper also trying to buy and sell euro dollar in the middle, because these pivot points that are typical for novice traders aren't going to be respected anymore. We warning, just a warning. It's a new phase. You know, we have completely, according to me, this phase is done. The market is done with this phase. We trade the market in phases. All right. So this is the phase. Let me show you. I'm not teaching Mr. Murad. I'm just showing you how we trade cycles in the market. That's the rally phase. So that we just break it down for them. This phase was done and it enjoyed its pullback. Just cycle it like this. That's the first phase. This market, this rallied, and in this case, it did a pullback, and which pullback made a falling, rather a rising wedge. There it is. So the price was supposed to drop from here. Here, the price was supposed to drop. It didn't drop. I'm telling you, we know what the price should have done and why it didn't do that. That's another phase. This did not happen, Mr. Mrero. All right. So this was supposed to be the extension of the pullback, another phase. So it's shared. Because that did not happen, the market is therefore caught in between. This is a shared part, right? This is the euro dollar. I'm breaking it down for you. This is cycles, by the way. If you don't have to be asking how do you know about the cycles. So that one was a shared point there while the market was trying to do this, and it's beginning to be giving indication of volatility coming. So whoever was asking about the retest, I would doubt, my friend, that the retest would not be as predictable as you see now, based on what you see. This price has come to the it's not a retest just because it has just found this resistance, but it's in the middle of the channel. This can be broken easily or it can retest. I wouldn't want to be seeing myself with some trades there. That's your resistance right there. It's retesting this. It's not because of this. It is retesting it as the previous, as the support that was broken. I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Right, that's what is happening right now. The support is still holding there, Mr. Morera. This channel, which is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in trading. That's personally, I do not waste money. I don't trade anything, any of this thing in the middle. So I'm not going to be interested in even calling anybody to do anything about this point. But if you're a scalper, you may want to sell this resistance, do it at own risk. Okay, so in this case, there we are. Another level, Mr. Morera, that I would like them to mark would be this one. Just for temporary sake. There's another one. Right. But this, would you agree with me that this looks bullish? Yes, it is. In any sense, that's bullish. Because if I can take this and I put it like this, I'm trading a bullish flag. It looks like the New York today will finish. Then they will not postpone. They will keep those and that employment improvement data on the shelves until such time that the market comes here. All right, right to the top. So I'm therefore expecting that this hype will continue. Oh yeah, I'll come to the retest because I'm seeing a point of retest there, but it can still continue up to the time that it touches the expanding triangle resistance. Then we remember the data that came through on the employment side. Then the market starts to take its course, which is the continuation and the bullish continuation, which is the normal course, together with other new data. This is the continuation of the sentiment, because these sentiments are negative, ladies and gentlemen. So I am on the still euro dollar looks like it's still going to be pushing to the upside, while the dollar still is going to be reeling from the losses out of a hype that was made yesterday. Where will it retest? Let's go back to it again. This video is available. Like I said, you can watch this over and over again, Mr. Marara, if I'm not mistaken. They can watch this. The link is already there. If you're trading with Steve Marrow, that's the V. Is that the V or the? I know that Steve Marrow would have recommended. Oh yeah, they call it the W. That's how he would have hoid it, and I think I would have traded here with them there. Right. There is, I think they call this a W, not a V. I think a V is coming. So this, I think they call a W there, like this. When the price breaks this point, they go in. But for me, I always tell them that this W is a pattern that we call King's Crown pattern. It's the bullish King Crown anyway. The shoulder form on the other side, it did not form on the other side. If the shoulder could have formed on this side, it could have been a W. It could have not been a W, but a head and shoulder pattern. So that's a bullish King Crown, right? But then it's called a. Then Steve calls this a W. So we knew when the price was breaking this point that it was going to continue and with great momentum to the upside, regardless of the time frame, by the way. This is price action, but nothing to do with sessions. So in this case, you're asking me about where would you retest? There are two levels to retest. This is the level that should have caused the retest to the breakout or to the formation of the W pattern of Steve Marrow. Didn't happen. So, but I suspect they may want to come to the downside. Should have gone in like this. So one should expect still a retest right at this price, which I'm interested in. You know, based on what I've just analyzed, that I'm seeing a big bullish sentiment there, and I don't know if Mr. Biden would dampen this right now. But otherwise, the only thing that can dampen it is the speech that's going to be coming. Rather, it's going to be the trading of the better unemployment rate. So retest, to answer it, Mr. Morara, is at 1.21. Remember, it's a bullish retest. Please, I don't think that I'm going to be interested anyway to sell my euros. I'm good keeping the euros and going up with it from 1.20. So I would gladly have my retest at 1.21 as my retest. I think there is already some form of retest that are happening. There is still already some nice demand. This was the demand area, and they've claimed it back. All right, and you can see already there is. So this price may as well just not want to go to the downside. The only way it can downside is that there must be a very strong sell, which must be fueled by also fundamentals. You can see that the price is now jumping on top of this price. You can see they are using it also as a support. You can see that. Let's go to M5. There it is. That's a support, but it's not a very strong one currently. I don't see any strength on it. So in this case, I would wait. I would not trust it for now. I will wait for the price to come and give me a retest at the level that I would trust more than the one that has just formed and not with strength. Perhaps, as I said, this could be the resistance. This could be something. That's why I'm saying that I would not trust this point at all. So I would definitely go something like this, Mr. Morera. I will be ready to go with this one, even if the price does not break to the upside, but at least I can sleep knowing that this is a bullish consolidation area. So even if the market can move and just keep moving between these two areas, my buy trade is safe and secured. The stop loss, it's below where the range before the news were released. See? Right. Stop loss is 1.208. No, 209,985. Too tight. I guess they say it's too tight. Modify. Let me take 1.207. Stop loss 1.2009. Oh, there it is. It agrees. There you go. And just take this slightly below this point. Modify. And I'm going up to 1.22 for take profit. I think I've answered that question, Morera.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Right.
Because I'm also looking at another possibility of, if it doesn't choose to go down, then it can still rally upwards towards that resistance to confirm a neckline.
Absolutely, absolutely. It could still go to the side. It's absolutely, I agree with you. It's a soft resistance. That's why I would say I wouldn't even sell on it.
Yes.
Not interested in, yeah, I would not be interested at the set at all. I would not be very cautious. Anybody thinking of selling as a scalper, again, scalpers are generally high risk traders. They can take anything that moves as long as 5 pips. I'm good with that. I don't take anything that moves. I want to be on the right side of the market, and that's my 1.21. Let the scalpers bring it to me. I will buy from them when they leave the market. I'll say thank you very much. If they can come to one of my courses, I can give them for free for giving me the trade.
Yes. So suppose that one scenario, the pullback doesn't, the breakout happen, the resistance confirmation of the,
absolutely. If this price breaks, you know it's gonna go, Mr. Morara, because I know you could be sharing the screen yourself. If this breaks, there's gonna be I'm still not gonna sell there, but there I'm still gonna now I'm gonna be raising my buy to the higher level. Then that's how we're gonna be going 1 2, and that's gonna be our 1 2. Then that's gonna be our 3 4. and that's going to be our final going to 5. If it goes right now, it's going to even be extending the gains to go to the upside, going to that level that I was telling you about, which is the top of the triangle that I've just, that expanding triangle. That's how it's going to be going to that. There it is. Right. As I have said, sir, there's that triangle, that expanding triangle. So this price will be poised to go straight to the top, make a new higher high. But please be careful of trading those pivot points. They don't hold anymore. When the top pivot points breaks, it does not mean they will hold, because we're using trend lines and not pivot points. I just need to caution the Opulence FX pivot points traders that be very careful. We're not trading pivots on euro dollar. The pivots are not holding at all. We're trading trend lines on euro dollar. The trend lines are holding beautifully. Stick to the trend lines. Yes, sir. 10 minutes left. What can we do for you? Is there any other thing, Mr. Moreira? Gold. I still have not.
Yes.
I still have not done the gold for them. Look at that TP, Mr. Moreira. Look at that TP when I was doing that buy limit on M5. Perfect. Sitting perfectly on that big on an intraday basis. That's a big supply zone and resistance there. And that's where you're going to take the money. But this time we expect a short pullback or just a small correction before this guy goes for the resistance that they like. They like this line. There we could be having a retracement. But for now, we're expecting an impulse movement, an impulse rally from the H4 caused by the NFP rally. Though this impulse basically, who was asking the question, if I can mention them by name, this impulse is expected to continue perhaps throughout the whole session. It could finish the whole, it could finish the rest of the session. If the session does not end up at the top, this impulse wave that started at 2:30 today could as well just finish this, and we could be opening the market on Monday at the top of there at 1.23, you know, and then knowing that next week Monday we just working to sell the euro. Moreira, while still there, as I said, we are not discarding the employment rate, the better than expected results for the employment rate. And I think this could be the level when we can now, as fundamentals, I am also fundamental, we could, when we get there, now pull a card to say that, in fact, we did not factor in the better than expected results that were posted on Friday. And we could be trading that next week.
Yes. So the sentiment could carry over into the following week.
Into the whole session, absolutely. Looks like it is. It is already. Well, especially, Mr. Moreira, if it can break your level that you just spoke about, if this resistance cannot hold, so these sentiments are very strong, and we can know there is trying to give a bearish engulf on this. But if these guys can break, can use this support to break out from this, the sentiments definitely are continuing. I don't see the dollar recovering during the course of the session.
Yes. All right, I think maybe you can touch on gold, and then we do the conclusion.
Thank you, sir. I hope the guy who asked about the euro dollar, I answered the question in a Steve Marrow style, and I hope that I've done justice to the guys who are following Steve Marrow. Steve, if you're also going to be watching our video, though I have not followed you personally, but the guys that you've trained are part of our academy, and it's good to see that the work that they've done is now rubbing through into our strategies generally. Lovely to see. So now let's get to gold. Gold similarly. So we expect gold to be going up. Mr. Moreira, you'll be shocked when I tell you that gold has been bullish. And I noticed in the morning, I was not at all not afraid for the move. In fact, they have launched a very big movement to the upside, unfortunately, sir, or fortunately. So I think I saw it on one of the pairs that I have. I think when I'm using this. Right, just do that. When I use this, gold is gone. Done. That was before, as I said, before we released the news, before the news were released, not we, before the data was released, gold gave everything away. Gold, before the news were released, gave news away that before the news were released, gold had already touched the support, and gold gave everything away, even before the euro dollar. You know, so gold was bullish. Now, when the news were released, gold had already given a head and shoulder pattern on M30 on shorter time frames. Right, if you can go jump straight into M30, gold had already given a head and shoulder pattern. There it is. It was just not going to be possible. Nice breakout trading. As I said, I would have used gold, also purely because then the pivot points were straight, Mr. Morera. Head, shoulder, shoulder, nicely so. Break out of the neckline, buy stop there, take the money, and gold, I would have not taken the money anywhere until now. So yes, gold is suggesting a point of reversal. And let me just confirm that. That is the place of reversal. Perhaps what euro dollar is doing there on the other side, Mr. Morera, is what in fact could happen. Gold finds resistance on M30, on M15, on H1, and then perhaps that's what we're talking about. Expect some relief from the hype. The hype is ending now. So this is marking the hype that you're talking about. Who asked again about the hype? There is the end of the hype. We expect the hype to be ending anywhere in this zone. Welcome to the end of the hype. So exactly after 2 hours, Mr. Morera, from 2:30, it is now 4:30. The hype is fading. Let me confirm that, Mr. Morera, by using our expansions levels. There it is. There's our expansions. That must be equal leg. That is going to be equal completely. There's the neckline head. There it goes. And the head is already formed. That's going to be where we expect those who are trading this head and shoulder pattern who don't trade hype. There it is. Let's go to it. There it is. Bam. There it is. Right in the zone. So anywhere from here, we expect the gold to be reversing, whether it's going to be using 161.8 or whether it's going to be using back to 1874 will be depending on what the President Biden will say to the nation. But likely looks like they will like his news, Mr. Morera. If I can predict that again, it looks like they will like something will just want to push the markets back to the dollar again. I'm already foreseeing some few buyers of the dollar right now to just give it some big boost and give the president some cheer up as he's going to be speaking. But that speech, that cheer up is not going to be making anything because then the stock markets will then come also to crumble or to just pull back also on the other side. So we're expecting that the dollar should be taking a break from the beating of the NFP, come back to this neckline. And as I said, because it's bullish, we just expect continuation, Mr. Morera, just as our FIB expansions are saying, perfect FIBs there, beautifully done. There, it's going to be missing that top. It's going to get this resistance. If it can reach to that one, it's not going to be a good one for those who wants to sell their gold. I'm going to keep my gold.
Fantastic. I think Joe Biden must arrest the Fauci mails as well. The link email.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Morera. It's up to the I think we can just quote our president, President Ramaphosa, to say, Mr. President of the United States, it's in your hands.
Definitely.
In South Africa, we say things are in your hands. So that's exactly. So right now, all is in the hands of the American of America.
Yes. Right. So I think that brings the conclusion of the NFP trading session. And thank you so much for joining us. It's been an awesome journey. It's a pity we missed the actual main event. The execution of trades. However, you got to see and experience the logic behind how to trade some fundamentals. So to those of you who are really interested, please continue supporting the channel. Like, subscribe, share. We're going to be doing the next one, which is obviously the first Friday of the next month, which is, I'm not even sure when that is. And you should check the calendar.
Yes, we have not checked the calendar, but rest for sure, we will be coming with a big live trading session. And as I thought to tell them that our desire is to be broadcasting that from one of our partner brokers, right from Sentin in at Veracity Markets. And I'm hoping and praying that next time we will be trading the NFP from the New York stock, rather from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange in Sentin.
Yes,
it will happen.
Yes, it will happen. I hope one of our PBs also gets presented at the JC.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much. It's going to be the 2nd of July, if I'm not mistaken. Should
Yes,
be the 2nd
sir.
of July. We'll be doing another NFP session. Hopefully, there won't be load shedding by then. They would have sorted out things. And yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Mr. Marara, for organizing. We continue. I think have you told them the program about next week in the next 2 minutes or so? Next week, our live trading sessions.
Okay, in the next week, I think it's Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be doing both London sessions and New York sessions live trading as well. So that's one of the events that you want to plug yourself into. And the other thing is, if you want to learn how to trade forex, there's a Telegram channel, and I'll actually add all the links into the description. Then all training is free with our partner brokers. And what's the other event? The preview.
The other one, I think that's all. Those who still would like to join our market preview for the month, that are still ongoing. It's just the first. We just have been trading our portfolio for now 4 days. They still can join in, where they could just again on Telegram let us know, and then we can include them. You just need to have your account with Veracity or XZ Markets funded. Then send your MT4 to Mr. Morera. Then we will definitely be adding you on our exclusive market preview, which updates are done every Monday by video, just to update on the portfolio. It is serious portfolio trading. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, guys, and let there be pips.
Let there be pips.